Hey friends, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is day one of Empowerment Challenge for Women with ADHD, and I'm super excited to be here with you. I'm really, really, really excited. I have so much things I want to share with you, and these 4 days are really going to be a little tidbit of what I have, but this is so exciting to be starting to do this. So for those of you who don't know me, I am Dr. Robin Crouch. I am a wellness chiropractor, neurofeedback practitioner, ADHD brain coach, and natural product educator. So you could see I wear a lot of hats. So you're probably wondering like, well, how did you wind up getting to be a ADHD brain coach or doing this challenge? I've been a chiropractor since 1999. I opened my own practice in 2001, and immediately we started seeing adults and children with ADHD. And I offered them chiropractic and some nutritional stuff with supplements. And people saw some changes, but I didn't really put my focus on it too much. And now it's 2021, and about 10 or 11 years ago, we had a dear friend and patient whose son was having a lot of struggles in school and socially. He had ADHD and he was really suffering. She did not want to medicate him, so she was looking for alternatives. So she came to me and asked what I knew, what things else they could do besides seeing me. So I started to do some research. I came across brain core neurofeedback. And neurofeedback is a training procedure for many neurological and emotional challenges, things like ADD, anxiety, insomnia, chronic pain, migraines. So I saw this program that is out there, and interestingly, the person who put the program together, he actually taught board review in chiropractic school. So I already knew who he was. So there was already that like trust factor going on. So I did a webinar, and then found someone that was not too far from us, sent them there, and they came back and they said, you have to do this. This is so amazing. So we did, and we went down to Hilton Head, we got trained, and we started offering neurofeedback in the office, and that person actually did really amazing. We were seeing all kinds of neurological and emotional challenges, like I mentioned, anxiety, depression, migraines, learning disabilities, autism spectrum disorder. But what we did notice was the majority of people that were coming to us were for adults and children with ADHD. So I said, you know what? I really need to really learn more different ways that I can help this population. So I dove headfirst into learning about ADHD. And as I was reading stuff and listening to stuff, I was like, oh, that's me. That sounds like me. Oh my gosh, I do that. So I had a huge aha moment, and it made sense. Suddenly, everything clicked. No wonder, no wonder. I always struggled in school. Obviously, I got a doctorate in chiropractic, so I made it through, and I decent grades. I wouldn't say great grades, but decent grades. But it was always a struggle. And I always just thought I wasn't as smart as my friends. I had to work twice as hard. I had to read something 10 times in order for it to sink in. I just wasn't organized. I was just a little impulsive. The truth of the matter is I graduated high school in 1991. So now you know how old I am. And back then, girls were not getting diagnosed with ADHD. It just wasn't happening. I mean, on the rare chance that a child was like super disruptive in the classroom and totally impulsive in the classroom, but I held it together in the classroom. You know, I sat in the back, wasn't always paying attention, but I wasn't obvious that what was going on. So I was never diagnosed. And here I am, you know, I guess 10 years ago, how old was I? I'm not going to say out loud. I realized, oh, yeah, that makes total sense. So suddenly I had a concept of what was happening for me. So here we are. Now I'm deciding I want to actually help women just like me, whether they were diagnosed, not diagnosed, think they have it, pretty sure they have it. So I really want to offer what I've learned along the way. And when I say learned along the way, I created all these strategies for myself, not even really knowing what I was doing and why I was creating these strategies. Even to what, you know, nutritional supplements I was taking and food I was eating, knowing what actually could support my brain better. And now that I do know what it is, I was able to really dive deeper and really create a whole program for my patients on ways to support the many symptoms of ADHD. And that is how 5-Factor Focus was born. And 5-Factor Focus is my program, which you'll hear more about later on. It's nutrition, it's sleep, it's healthy nervous system, it's exercises, and it's life hacks. So those are the 5 things that everybody needs to be healthy, not just those of us with ADHD. So those are the 5 factors of health. And I've created 5-Factor Focus, which hones in on the things that are actually supportive and help manage the symptoms of ADHD. So that's a little bit about me and where we're at and how we got here. So I'm super excited to dive into day 1 with you. Here we go. So I just want you to imagine getting your brain to work better without feeling overwhelmed, right? So there's so many different things that we hear about that can help us. But how awesome would it be if you had something that was just all together and you didn't have to go all different places to find what you were looking for? I just want you to imagine that. And the other thing I want you to understand is that there is no cure for ADHD, nor do I think there should be, because I don't know about you, but I know that ADHD gives me a ton of superpowers. It helps me with creativity. My brain can go a mile a minute, and I come up with so many ideas. And some of them I run with, and some of them I don't. But it really creates a lot of stuff going on, and I use that to my advantage. The other thing is we can hyper focus on things like nobody's business, right? So once we are set on something, most people cannot do that like we can. So I really want you to empower yourself to figure out what your superpowers are, because we all have them. So there's nothing wrong with you. And yes, we may struggle with many things oftentimes, but a lot of those things we can actually work on and create habits that can help us to work on those things. So we're going to focus on superpowers more than we are going to focus on anything that's really wrong with us. All right, so here's my disclaimer. This information is for educational purposes only. It's not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease, disorder, or illness. All right, so if you are watching us live, you're not watching us live because this is recorded, sorry. If you are watching this in the replay, you are still eligible for the prizes. We have a couple of prizes. You just have to go into the daily post, and you can retroactively go into those daily posts that are in the group. And you can just introduce yourself in day 1. That is the homework assignment. And also, when you're done with this, if you want to come in and share with us what your goal is, you're more than welcome to. In that post, I just want to point out, if you do have a question, make sure you tag me so I do see it. But we have a diffuser with some essential oils as one of our prizes. We have a timer. I love my timer. I set it for 15 minutes. I do a test for 15 minutes, and then I move on to something else. We also have a consultation with me, so help you kind of get set up with certain things on whatever you're working on. And I added another one because I just ordered myself one. It's a fidget ring. It has these little balls, and you can kind of play with it. Instead of you see me going like this. That's my little fidget. All right, so those are the prizes. So make sure if you're watching the replay, you get in there and you comment on that post. All right, here we go. So I like to think of goals like you're taking a trip, right? So you're about to go on a trip. You need to know where you're going, right? You don't just get in the car and randomly drive. You need a destination. So as difficult as goals and sticking with our goals is for us, we need to know where we're going, where we want to go. So having a destination, so creating some kind of goal is super, super important. Now, the other thing is when you're planning a trip, you need to know why you're going there. You also need to know why you want to achieve this goal. What is the driving force behind it? So why do you want to go to the Grand Canyon? Why do you want to go to Florida? Like, why? You need to know why you're going there. The same thing is with goals. We really, really need to know why. And in order to get to our destination, we need directions, right? So we need systems and strategies to get to that goal. We're not going to talk much about strategies and directions in this class, but just know that in my paid program, the 5-Factor Focus, we do break down all of our strategies and directions that we need to achieve the things that we want to achieve. And this is a big one. And I think it's super important for us to understand as people with ADHD that nothing is a straight line, right? So if you're going on a trip, let's say a road trip, you're driving along, you have to go to the bathroom, you're hungry, what do? You get off the road and you get on to the pit stop, right? You go to those rest stations, and then what do? You get back on the road and move on your way. And then maybe you stop again, get off and get back on again. So we need to know that our goal is here. It doesn't mean we're going straight there. We're going to go whoop, 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 whoop. The key is to just keep getting back on the road. And this may have been one of the biggest lessons that I have learned along the way, is that nothing is a straight line. Just because I mess up once does not mean I say, forget it. That's not my goal anymore. I'm not going to do that. No, get back on the road and keep going. All right, so that leads us to this, your why. You need to know why you want to reach this goal. The stronger your why, the more oomph you're going to have behind it. We're going to talk a little about dopamine tomorrow, but really having that strong power actually can create a lot of dopamine and push you forward and motivate you. And if your why can make you cry, then my guess is that you're going to achieve that goal. Because if you keep focusing on the why, you're going to want to reach that goal, and you're going to keep going. You're going to figure out those strategies and those directions in order how to get there. Okay, so we're going to do something called the 7 levels of why. And now you can do this with me now. I do recommend possibly going back and doing it again on your own. It could be super helpful, but since you're watching this on the replay, you can actually pause it if you need to pause it. So every time, we get to our next section of the 7 layers of why, and you're not ready, just pause it and come back. Or learn how to do it and then do it on your own. But I think the pausing idea is a really good idea, because if you're anything like me, you'll walk away and not do it. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to ask for some guidance. And this could be guidance from yourself, any higher power. Like I said, if you're not into any like higher power, anything like that, just ask guidance from yourself. It's that little voice that, helps you along the way sometimes. So what I like to do is I like to take a little essential oil. This happens to be Valor. I breathe it in. You guys are gonna see I'm gonna slow down now from that essential oil. If you don't have essential oils, just take a couple of deep breaths. All right, so we're gonna take a couple of deep breaths. We're asking for guidance on why you want to reach this goal. And you may hear nothing. You may hear nothing. All right, so in your workbook, you have a goal sheet. It says my goals. If you don't know where the workbook is, I'm going to post the link in here so you guys can grab it real quick. You're going to pick one goal, something that you want to achieve, something that you want to work on. Could be anything. I'm going to use the example of I want to get my house organized, like a regular thing you guys will see as you get to know me. That's a common one. Obviously, I haven't gotten to that goal yet, but I'm getting back on the road. All right, so you're going to pick one goal and write it down. I mean, seriously, write it down right now. Write it down. Okay. All right, what is your goal? I'm just going to grab my drink here. No, I'm not drinking alcohol. It's actually Minxa Reb and water. Okay, so what is my goal? So you have your goal, you've written it down. If you haven't written it down yet, write it down. I'm telling you, write it down. All right, so you're going to ask yourself a why question based on that answer. So why do I want to get my house organized? Again, if not enough time, just pause it, okay? Okay, so we were actually so now we're going to ask ourselves a question based on that answer. Why do I want to get my house organized? I want to get my house organized because I want my house to be a place that I can relax. So why do I want my house to be a place that I can relax? Because I work so hard and I want my home to just be a place that I can recharge. So again, you're going to ask yourself a why question based on your answer and write it down, and then you're going to answer it. Here we go again. Ask yourself a why question based on that answer, write it down, and then answer it. I don't even remember what I said. Why do I want, so I want my house to be a place to relax because I work so hard and it needs to be a place where I can just chill. Why? Why do I want it to be a place that I can chill? I need clarity so I can serve more people and really get my stuff out into the world. Okay, so you're going to ask yourself a why question based on that answer, and you write it down and answer it. And you may get to the gut wrenching why before we even get to the ends, and that's totally okay. If you feel like you've gotten there, my guess is that you may not have. Okay, so why do I want to get my stuff out into the world? I struggled so many years not knowing how to help myself. And then once I realized what was going on and I had all the information, I knew that I had to get this out to help more women. Okay, so again, if that wasn't enough time, you're gonna pause the video and answer all the questions. And now we're gonna reflect a little bit. So what was your initial why? So my initial why was, why do I want to get my house organized because I want it to be a place that I can relax. And my true why turned out to be much, much bigger than that. I struggled so much and I learned so many things. And I really believe that I need to help more women like myself manage their symptoms of ADHD. Now, that's a huge difference from I want to get my house organized to serving women in the world, right? You could see that's a huge difference. So if you have your why of this particular goal, and that's the thing about the goals and the whys, is that like you pick another goal, you got to find another why. Whereas the majority of people, they just pick a why in general, and it's kind of like, they're going towards that thing. But I think for us, women with ADHD, we need to have a why for each kind of goal that we're going to achieve. So how will knowing your true why affect how you focus on your goals? You could see how that makes a huge difference between me like, I don't feel like organizing my house, to I want to help as many people as I can, and having my house organized is going to help me do that. It's pretty amazing to me. Hope you guys are with me. Yes? Okay. So you also have a goal setting planner sheet in your workbook, or you can just write it out. So you're going to write out that goal again, and then you're going to think of some action steps that you can take to get to that goal. And whatever those action steps are, my guess is there are habits that can be built around that, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. But there's also some roadblocks. So writing down your roadblocks so you know what they are before they even arrive can actually help you bust through those roadblocks. And on day three, yep, we're going to be doing EFT, which is emotional freedom technique. And it's a technique that you can actually use to help you bust through those roadblocks. So pick a couple of action steps that you know that things that you have to do to get to your goal. So like, for example, with me, I need to create a organizing system, like a schedule, basically, like when I'm going to clean each of those rooms. And then when I bring it into the whole habit thing, we're going to talk about how I'm going to take each of those sections and put it into creating habits. Okay. All right. So that is all for today. I can't wait to see you back here tomorrow for habits. Again, if you have any questions, please ask them in the post, and make sure you tag me so I see it, because if you don't tag me, I may never see it. And I hope you guys got something out of this goal setting day, and you know what your why is for that one particular goal that you are trying to achieve. So hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you soon.